Tim, board member access to information.
Yes, I asked to put that on. I'm feeling that some of the information is not being either readily available or that if I ask for a financial document that it all of a sudden needs board approval as opposed to, we have an incident today where board members asking for information about a particular curriculum program and there's no problem giving them that information. I understand that, we don't want to burden the staff, but in order to do my fiduciary responsibility, there is things that I do need. And in a relatively, timely manner on some things. A 5-year forecast should have been run. I mean, if we didn't run it, how would we know that the format isn't good if you've never run it? So I assume that which should have been run. The one that is recently is just getting different years of a scattergram. I'm told there's only again getting one doesn't give me a trend line, and also to create the one you would have had to have the year previous. So again, I'm just concerned that staff is being directed, I guess, not to give you information. I've had this problem in the past, and I want to make sure that this doesn't continue and that board members can get the information they need to do their job.
What's the board member authority? What's the issue there?
Just whether or not board members can direct staff to not give me information.
So we have an attorney. Dean Crone is here because Mike Louisi was not available, so maybe Dean can address those issues if you'd be kind enough to do so.
And I'm not aware that an attorney was directed to come to this meeting. So
No, and I sent you the email. Mike's coming to the March one.
Well, I guess we have a new issue now.
I emailed you. Remember Mike sent that letter? Did you get the letter from Mike?
Mm-hmm.
And Mike didn't mention an attorney at all. And then we wrote him back and said that, great, we'll see you at the March meeting.
Oh, I didn't see that. I thought you said that you were going to decide that tonight, so that.
I didn't say I was going to decide. I said if we have 4 people.
Mike talked to Dean and asked him to be here in his absence, so.
Well, Mike did not ask Dean to be here.
I believe he did, didn't he?
Not as
Mike did not ask Dean to be here. You
asked Dean to be here
Mike did not.
Mike called me a couple of days ago and asked me if I was available tonight to attend this meeting.
That is not what Mike's letter said. Did you get a copy of Mike's letter?
Yeah.
And they suggested that I call President Chapman and find out a little bit more about what the was for tonight.
I'm not sure we did this one. I thought we were going to have an executive session discussion and then go from there.
Well, are we going to?
Yes.
Well, I think the point that Tim is breaking up, there's a legal issue relative to the authority that board members have. As long as we have an attorney here, I think it's better that the attorney respond than I do. So.
Well, the fundamental principle, I think, underlying this question as well as most is what authority does an individual board member have? And the answer to that is not much. The board has a lot of authority, and if you read through Article 10 of the school code, you'll see that the board is given much authority and many responsibilities. There are no statutory provisions giving individual board members any authority, with the exception of the board president's authority to preside over these meetings. So in terms of what information board members should have access to, I think the answer to that is at an initial step, whatever information the board as a whole needs. So if a majority of the board asks for certain information, I'm sure the administration will provide it to the board, and I know tonight you all received a lot of information, both through presentations and I'm confident through written materials that you received before the meeting. The question then becomes, having received whatever information was provided to the board as a whole, if an individual board member feels like he or she needs more information, what do you do about that? And I think the board can do a couple of different things. As a general rule, again, it's up to the board. If a majority of the board agrees that that information is relevant and important, then you ought to get it. then they can make that known to the administration. And that would probably be done at a meeting like tonight. And so, for example, in the back and forth between the speakers and the board members, there were some requests for additional documentation, additional information, and there was an agreement reached that that would be provided. The problem is that asking the administration to develop and provide more and more information isn't without a cost. It takes time and effort to develop and gather and so forth and present and provide other information. So it's not impossible to imagine, at least hypothetically, unreasonable demands by a board member. And then it's up to the board really to determine whether the information that is being requested is reasonable and ought to be provided. And if it should be provided, it should probably be provided to the whole board so everybody is on the same page.
I'm sorry, your name's Dean?
Dean.
Dean Kelly. I understand you don't have any of the background, but you're not really addressing what happened. To go further, we've had an opinion from Lisa Madigan addressing this specific board and our lack of access to information. And so while I understand and I really appreciate everything you've said, that's not really covering what was going on. We are from the Attorney General and from Mike entitled to any readily available document. And we were being denied, Mr. Millar was being denied a document that he didn't ask something to be created. He was asking for something that the board voted on in November that we have. So this isn't a board member going in and saying, I would like to see, a comparison between the bidding process that we had 3 years ago and the bidding process we have today. Please provide that for me. That's not what happened at all. What happened was, in November, we as a board voted for a document to be completed in January, and it was not. And it wasn't in the format in which the administration was wanting to give us in, so we were being denied access to that document. So it's not exact, and I totally appreciate you didn't have the background information. I also know, and I'm sorry that you didn't bring the letter, I wish I would have too, that Mike did not direct, Mike cannot direct another attorney to be here. So I'm curious how you got here, because it wasn't through Mike. And he might have asked you if you were available, but he certainly has no authority to direct you to be here.
Not unless the board.
Right.
He didn't direct me to be here.
He might have asked you if you were available,
He
right?
asked me if I was available, and he said that the board had requested that an attorney be present.
Okay. I'm
board?
not sure that's, no, I did not. I did not ask for an attorney to be present. That is not a true statement.
Okay, let me also bring up, though, you're contradicting actually the letter, the email that I got from Lisa Madigan's office, Terry Muchler, because I had a similar situation a few years ago when I was looking to go to look at just the electric bills, and I was denied access to that. I even put out a FOIA request, which, again, was denied by the board. The administration and the board, of course, because the administration wouldn't do it without the board or board members. And actually, what she sent back is, please be advised that a public official would not be required to file a FOIA to obtain a record in the performance of his official duties. So it's really different, very different than what you're saying. I shouldn't need 4 members of a board to tell me I can have a copy of a bill. How would I ever discover if there was any malfeasance, any fraud? It would totally handcuff the process. I mean, that is just incredible that you would think that you would need 4 board members to tell you you have access to look at anything that's already available. And that's exactly what it says here. It says, well, a member of a public body is not necessarily entitled to particular documents merely because they're a member of that body, but a board member cannot be denied access to information relevant to the exercise of his or her duties, including information that would not be generally subject to public disclosure. So your opinion seems very different than what the Attorney General's opinion is on this matter.
Like we understand we can't have student